Hello everyone, welcome back. This is part 3 of distribution of ocean and continents, which is chapter 4 of class 11 Geography NCERT. We have already discussed two parts and we have seen some very important theories like continental drift theory, seafloor spreading theory. In this part, we will start with plate tectonic theory. It is my suggestion to you all that if you have not seen the previous two lectures, kindly see them because they form the foundation from which we will build on today. So let's start the lesson with plate tectonic theory. So the first point that we have to remember in this theory is who proposed the theory. So it was firstly given in 1967 by Mackenzie, Parker, and Morgan. So these three people collected ideas and came up with a new concept that is plate tectonic theory. Plate tectonic theory is a continuation in the series of theories which were given to explain that how oceans and how continents were formed. And this is the theory which has most of the backing and is still recognized as the most accurate theory till now. So as you can see that okay, plate tectonic theory has this word that is plate tectonic. So first we have to understand that what this plate word means. We have already seen that what is lithosphere. We have seen that okay, crust and some part of upper mantle forms a part of lithosphere. When this lithosphere, let's say this is the whole lithosphere, is divided into small portions. So this one portion is called plate. And this plate can either be a continental plate or it can be an oceanic plate. We will study that how a plate is classified as either continental or either as oceanic. So a tectonic plate is also called a lithospheric plate. We have seen that what is a lithosphere just now. It is basically crust and some part of upper mantle. Is a massive irregularly shaped slab of solid rock, generally composed of both continental and oceanic lithosphere. Plates move horizontally over asthenosphere as a rigid units. We have already discussed in the previous, and it is like a jelly-like structure on which the plates basically float. Just think of like a ball floating on water. Like that, plates are floating on something like squishy or jelly-like material called asthenosphere. We have seen that also understood that asthenosphere forms a part of mantle. Can basically be continental or oceanic, but it has the elements of both. Now, what determines that? Okay, now when it has elements of both, then how do we understand that which plate is continental or which is termed as oceanic? That is basically depending on the quantity. If continental plate is more, then or it occupies a larger portion, then it will be termed as a continental plate. And if oceanic plate is more, then it will be termed as a oceanic plate. We will just look upon this aspect also. First, let's recall, and it is just for revision purpose, that the lithosphere includes crust and top mantle with a thickness varying from 5 and 100 kilometers in oceanic parts and 200 kilometers in the continental areas. We have seen that okay, lithosphere now can also be of two parts. That is, either it can be oceanic lithosphere and either it can be continental crust or oceanic crust. We have understood that the thickness of continental crust is more, whereas compared to oceanic crust, it is less. Now, a plate may be referred to as a continental plate or as an oceanic plate, depending on which of the two occupy a larger portion of the plate. We have just mentioned that if continental portion is more in the plate than oceanic, then it will be termed as a continental plate. And if the oceanic part is more than the continental, then it will be termed as an oceanic plate. Now, let's consider the example of Pacific plate. We all know that there is an ocean called the Pacific Ocean. Now, the Pacific plate is largely an oceanic plate, but it does not mean that it does not contain continental portion. It does have continental portion because beneath ocean also there has to be some surface which is called the continental plate. Let's say this is the water. This concept we already discussed in the previous lecture. So, it is my kind recommendation that do look upon those first. uh, Water, there will be certain type of continental plate also present. And when we compare the Eurasian plate with Pacific plate, Eurasian plate is more of a continent plate. You can just imagine the landmass of Europe and Asia. So the theory of plate tectonic proposes that Earth's lithosphere is divided into seven major and some of the minor plates. So we all know that there are seven continents and we can just remember by 7 that okay, 7 major plates are present. We have to have a idea of what are the names of these plates and what basically is their location, but we do not need to remember about what these minor plates are or where they are situated. The various relief features which are present on the Earth's surface, like fold mountains, trenches, faults, are all formed through the process of movement of plate. We will see the movement of plate in the coming slides. Before that, let's just have a look upon that what are the major and minor plates situated on the lithosphere. So let's first see an animated video to just imagine that what are the major plates. We can see Pacific plate, Eurasian plate, African plate, Indo-Australian plate, Eurasian plate. Alright. So now these are the name of the 7 major plates. You might think that okay, the names of 7 continents will be the name of these 7 major plates, but that is a guess can be taken from the names of continents about that okay, what will be the names of these 7 major plates, but they are not exactly the same. Let's see them in the list. So the first one is Antarctica and the surrounding oceanic plate. So Antarctica is also a continent, so it's easy to remember that okay, Antarctica is one of the major plate. Second come North American plate. North America is also a continent. It is also simple to remember. So North American plate with Western Atlantic floor separated from the South African plate along the Caribbean island. So Caribbean island plays a bridge-like structure between North American plate and between the South American plate. And we can just imagine the world map that here the Atlantic Ocean is situated. Like a S-shaped Ocean is situated. The third major plate comes the South American plate with Western Atlantic floor separated from the North American plate along the Caribbean island. The fourth one comes the Pacific plate. We all know that okay, Pacific Ocean. So this is not a continent, but this is a major plate on the lithosphere. Then fifth comes in India, Australia, and New Zealand plate. You must be thinking that why India is being linked to Australia and New Zealand since it is situated far on today's world map. But we need to like have thinking that okay, just think about the continental drift theory that we studied. In that, we have seen a map where India was connected to Australia and then India moved to the north and it came with Eurasian plate. That is the case with Indian plate, and we will study it further in the Indian geography also, and we will study the movement of Indian plate, and we'll study it briefly in this lecture also. The sixth one come African and Eastern Atlantic floor plate, and the seventh one is Eurasia and the adjacent oceanic plate. So now we have idea of what are these 7 major plates about. So let's just quickly recall that these are Antarctica plate, North America, South America, Pacific, Indo-Australia, New Zealand, Africa, and Eurasia. You just have to have an idea about what are the names of these plates and how where they are situated. We will see a map coming up in the coming up slides also. Now let's just see that what are the some of the minor plates, and these are some of the important minor plates. First one being Cocos plate. Cocos plate is present between Central America and Pacific plate. We will see the location on the map in the next slide only. Second one comes Nazca plate. It is between South America and Pacific plate. Arabian plate. It is mostly the South Arabian landmass. Philippine plate. It is between Asiatic and Pacific plate. And Caroline plate between Philippine and Indian plate. So just understand that there are thousands of minor plates which are present. You need not remember all of the minor plates, but just have an idea of what are the important minor plates. This is an example of a diagram which is taken from directly from NCRT. You can see that okay, these are the major plates, like you can see Eurasian plate, you can see African plate, North American plate, South American plate, Pacific plate, Indo-Australian plate, and the Antarctica plate. And these are some of the minor plates that we have seen, like Caroline plate, Nazca plate, Philippine plate, John de Fuca plate. So these are Cocos plate. So these are some of the minor plates. So you just need to remember that okay, what are the major plates, which are the major plates, and which are the minor plates. This much is enough. Now we have to see that okay, we have something already we have seen in the previous slides that okay, there's something like plate tectonic theory, that okay, plates are moving. Now we have to understand that how actually plates move. So let's study it. These plates have been constantly moving over the globe throughout the history of Earth. It is not the continent that moves as believed by Wegener. Continents are part of a plate, and what moves is the plate. So what was the in the continental drift theory that we have studied was proposed by Wegener, that okay, continents shifted from one place to another, but the force behind it was not explained by Wegener. What is the force which is provided by plate tectonic theory? It is the convective current force only. But what it suggests is that the continents do not move themselves. They are a part of a plate. And when this plate moves, the continent automatically moves from one place to another. Moreover, it may be noted that all geological past and shall continue to move in the future as well. So it is not a stable concept, and plates are not going to be static at one place. They are going to move from one place to another. Wegener had thought of all the continents to have initially existed as a supercontinent in the form of Pangaea. We have seen when we were discussing the theory of continental drift theory by Wegener. However, later discoveries reveal that continental masses resting on the plate have been wandering all through the geological period. The Pangaea was a result of converging of the different continental masses that were part of one or the other plates. So, what was considered as Pangaea, and then the Pangaea breaking into Laurasia and Gondwana land as proposed by continental drift theory. What is proposed by plate tectonic theory, that okay, there was a Pangaea. It is not denying the existence of Pangaea, but what it suggests is that Pangaea was basically the culmination or the coming together of different plates. That is why it made or it culminated into one large supercontinent. It was not basically one continent. The plates have been moving. The plates have never been together as a Pangaea. This is what plate tectonic theory is stating. But it was just for some time the plates came together as and it formed a large big continent called Pangaea. Scientists using paleomagnetic data have determined the position held by each of the present continental landmass in different geological period. We have already seen that okay, what is this paleomagnetic study when we are studying about the sea floor spreading theory, and we have seen that okay, this the rocks that are formed, when they are formed at the time of their formation, they store the magnetic information in them. When we study, we can study about, we get to know that what is the magnetic characteristic of earth at that time, and then we can estimate the time period when the rock was formed. So this is how the scientists have now come at a point where they have determined that okay, where the or in the past. Now there are three types of uh, boundaries which we can study of the plates. Either the plates can move in opposite direction, this is called divergent boundary, or either they can come towards each other, this is called convergent boundary, or either they can just move like strike or slip, it is called a transform boundary. They either do not come together or they do not move apart, they just move besides each other. So this is called transform boundary. Now we have to see or we have to look upon into these three type of boundaries. We will start with the divergent boundary. When new crust is generated as plates pull away from each other. Now, when the plates will pull away from each other, naturally lava will flow from this gap. And when lava will flow from this gap, when lava accumulates, naturally a land-like surface will be formed. The side where the plates move away from each other is also called the spreading side. You have to remember this word. This is an important word. So in this example, like we have seen the plates moving apart, this site is called as a spreading site. The best known example of divergent boundary is the mid-Atlantic ridge. We have already seen that how mid-Atlantic ridge is formed, and we can just apply that concept in divergent boundary. At this, the American plate is separated from the Eurasian and African plate. When let's say this is American plate, and this is African plate, when they move in completely opposite directions, then lava comes out, and when it accumulates over the time, what it forms is mid-oceanic ridges. Let's see an animated video to basically memorize and to imagine that what is okay happening in a divergent boundary. Yeah, so you can see that two plates are moving in the opposite direction and lava is coming up. When this lava will solidify and it will accumulate year after year, something like a land structure will be formed. All right, the next boundary that we have to see is basically a convergent boundary. In this, the plate are coming towards each other. In convergent boundary, the type of plate which are coming towards each other also matters, and it determines the nature of relief features which will be formed. Now, there are two type of plate we have already seen, so there can be three type of combination which can be formed. One is oceanic plate coming together, continent plate coming together, and oceanic continent plate coming together. So when the crust is destroyed as one plate dived under another. So naturally, when we see that okay, one plate is heavier than the other, the plate which is heavier naturally goes down the plate which is lighter. We all know that lighter thing floats over the heavier thing. So like we were discussing the convergent boundary, so the location where sinking of plate occurs is called a subduction zone. So the plate which is higher in density goes below the plate which is lighter in density. And there are three ways in which convergence can occur. We have already seen ocean, continent, and ocean-continent. Right? So let's just imagine that what is happening in a ocean and continent convergence. The third type of boundary that we have to discuss is basically a transform boundary. In transform boundary, no type of convergence or divergence is taking place. When the crust is neither produced nor destroyed as the plates slide horizontally past each other, just the plates are sliding past each other. In the case of divergent boundary, the crust is being produced because lava comes up, it solidifies, and crust is being formed. In case of convergent boundary, the one plate goes or subducts below another plate. So this is how the crust is being destroyed. Transform fault are planes of separation generally perpendicular. Let's consider that this is a mid-oceanic ridge. Alright. Now what is happening in this mid-oceanic ridge is that these two plates are moving because this is a type of divergent boundary. So these plates are moving apart from each other. And let's say this is also a mid-oceanic ridge. Here it is moving, this plate is moving to the right, this plate is moving to the left. Now these are moving horizontally opposite to each other. So this is where a transform fault will be formed. Or this is a transform boundary. Alright. So as the eruptions do not take place along the entire crest at the same time, there is a differential movement of portion of plate away from the axis of Earth. Also, the rotation of Earth has its effect on separated blocks of the plate portion. When the rotation of Earth is happening, maybe one portion is moving horizontally opposite to the another portion, or horizontally past to the another side. So that is also having an impact on the boundaries that will be formed. So now let's just imagine that what is happening in a transform boundary. We have already discussed that okay, there is no, the plates are not coming together, plates are not going in opposite direction, they are just sliding past each other. Alright, so like in this figure, we can see that this plate is moving in this direction, this plate is moving in this direction. So this is a simple example of transform boundary. So now we have discussed about the plate tectonic theory in its whole. One important part of this chapter is remaining about the movement of Indian plate. We will discuss it in part 4 of this lecture video, and that will be going to be the last part of this lecture. Please do revise these concepts, as in geography revision is the key. And if you have not seen the previous lecture videos, kindly see them also. It is all the lecture videos are present in an order in a playlist. So thank you and keep revising. Have a good day and do subscribe to UPSC with AS for more upcoming videos. Thank you.